So I just read Jujustu Kaisen Chapter 236, and I have mixed emotions about this chapter, to be honest. So let's hop right into it. So this chapter starts off with Geto saying hi to Gojo. So obviously Gojo's like, oh, this has to be a dream because I told my students when you die alone. So presumably Gojo's dead. That's how it just starts off as, right? So then Geto asks Gojo, how was your fight with Sukuna? And Gojo was telling him how like he was insanely strong and he didn't even like go all out against him, like Sukuna didn't. Gojo even says that even if Sukuna didn't use the 10 shadows, it'll still be a very close fight, you know? Gojo also says how he commented how he understands like the isolation of being so strong, and like his goal was, help Sukuna reach that point to not feel so isolated. So Gojo was going all out, showing all his techniques, his tricks and whatnot to like help with Sukuna in that isolation because he knows that being the strongest, you're gonna feel isolated. There's gonna be like a gap between you. He even says that with when it comes to his friends and whatnot, like even though they adore him, they still feel like this like gap between him and his friends because he was being so strong. Then he also like drops his quote too. Hope I remember this right. He said, "You can admire a flower for how it blooms, but you can't. What's the word? You can't ask the flower to understand you." Something like that. I'll drop the quote in the video. So that's the quote saying like you could admire somebody or understand. You could watch someone grow and whatnot, but you're not gonna really understand them truly. You know what I mean? Well, that's what I think the quote means. So yeah, Gojo's just like very upset that he couldn't help Sukuna go all out and like he couldn't reach him to that point. But he had a good time. It was like Gojo got to go all out, have all the fun he wanted, but he couldn't help Sukuna reach that like, point two of going all out because Sukuna was obviously holding back during that fight. That's what Gojo said. So then we see more of Gojo's friends too, right? We see Nanami, then Hibara, too, talking to Gojo, saying like how what's his face? What did they say? They're just all like having a good time. I think it's like just more of just Gojo being with around his friends again, just being him, because like Gojo is known for being the strongest. Like him finally losing makes him not Gojo the strongest, but just Gojo, the character. He's just a normal teenage guy. And I feel like him being like in his like memories or in his dream world, I should say, or heaven. There we go. Him being like a teenager again just shows him being like just a kid again, being around his friends and whatnot, and just feeling like normal, because like now he can now understand what it feels like just being a normal person and not being known as just the strongest because there's someone else who was better than him. So then, yeah, that was a cute scene. I really enjoyed it. I'll probably show more clips of it and just, their interaction, just in all, just having a good time. Then Gojo, being happy that he hopes it is a dream, because like he is finally gone now, essentially. So he hopes that this is a dream, that this is all just actually happening. So then we cut to Sukuna explaining how Maharaga's technique actually works. So the way his Magaraga curse technique works, or his adaptation, is that once with the curse technique, over time will adapt. So he just needs to get hit once, then it'll slowly adapt to the technique. And then if you hit it again with the same technique, it will just adapt faster. So once Maharaga adapted to Infinity, that was like his first adaptation. So like once you adapt, you're done. But the way Maharaga works is like his adaptation just keeps going and going. So like it can adapt, but still add more to the adaptation. So like it keeps evolving with the technique that he adapted to. So Sukuna was trying to like find an adaptation to copy from Maharaga. So Maharaga adapted to Infinity with just his cursed energy, but Sukuna couldn't copy that. But then Maharaga adapted a different way to Infinity to nullify, and that was with the slash technique he used against Gojo a couple techniques back. And that was something that Sukuna could copy. And the way that technique works is that it cuts the space around you itself. So it cuts space itself. So it ignores everything, just cuts space. So that's how it cut through Infinity. And that's how it was able to cut Gojo. And then after that explanation just shows Gojo's severed body. Tragic. So after that, we get the explanation. Sukuna then shows respect to Gojo, saying like he will never forget him because like he was strong enough to have Sukuna learn this technique and learn something new. So that was a good nod for Gojo. Like he pushed Sukuna that far to learn something new and have like a new strong technique. Then we cut to what's his face? Kishimo. Please, I really hope I said that right. Hopping into the battle, ready to fight Sukuna. Like there was like no hesitation. Once Gojo died, he was immediately on the battlefield. And that was the end of the chapter. Pretty fast chapter. Pretty sad chapter, to be honest. But I expected Gojo to die, but I didn't expect him to go out like this. You know what I mean? Because like we're seeing the Gojo like these past few chapters before him just taking like these solid dubs, you know, like these making good inches towards beating Sukuna. Now we knew he was going to like lose at some point, obviously, but I didn't want him to lose like this, which was being off screen. You know what I mean? Because I feel like in a battle like this, Gojo just dying off screen, don't even see like how he died. We just know like, oh, he got cut. That was it. That's not cool, you know? I feel like they should like at least show like how he died, you know? It is what it is. I think that's like very sucky, very unfortunate because like I just didn't want it to happen like this. I wanted to like to at least, you know, beat Sukuna, but like something like an outside force happens, like some trickery, some shenanigans. Well, technically this is shenanigans and trickery because like Sukuna did like use Maharaga's technique, learn from it. Like I wouldn't say steal, but like he like used Maharaga to like learn new curse technique to beat Gojo. So like I feel like that's not trickery, but like that's his using his skill of curse technique and curse energies like find a way to beat Gojo. So that wouldn't be like, I would say that wouldn't be like him being hoed, more like, you know, he just lost. That's it. He just lost. I didn't want to lose. That's it really. I'm just a Gojo fan. See him lose, I didn't want that. This is just me rambling at this point about, you know, the loss. It sucks because I was talking like mad stuff about Sukuna these past few weeks now, you know, calling him a fraud and whatnot. And like, he kind of was, but like, you know, this chapter said, hey, listen, he was holding back on purpose. Do I believe that? Kind of, you know, that's like, I feel like we're backtracking a bit because like these past few chapters, we've seen Gojo going crazy, you know, beating up Sukuna. But then like, you know, now the chapter saying, oh, Sukuna was actually holding back this entire time. It feels like, you know, a slight cop-out, but it is what it is, you know. The next fight, hopefully, is going to be dope. Like Sukuna says, hopefully the guy's like doesn't disappoint him. You know, I want like another good fight. And we'll see how it goes, you know. This is a quick review. Sadness, I guess. Upsetness. That's not a word. I'm feeling upset. There we go. Slight disappointment, but, you know, it is what it is. R.I.P. Gojo. If he comes back, probably not, but we'll see how it goes. You know, it's JJK. Anything can happen, I guess. But, yeah, I guess that's the end of the chapter, my review. And I'll catch you guys later.